This is Marketing of Today. I'm DJ, taking over, interviewing Cesar.
This is interesting. This is interesting. What's up, DJ?
What's up? What's going on?
Wait. You're the one who's interviewing. I can't be going over you.
Exactly. So I was watching your interview with JT. I actually went back. I saw a couple of them. And then I was thinking, I haven't learned much about you because usually the interviewer, you would like do a podcast by yourself or a couple guests. And then but I know you now. I've seen your ascension, but I don't know much about your backstory. So I felt like it's good to jump on, ask you, and then, we could share it on the podcast. So
that'd be awesome.
2 birds on 1 stone.
Yeah, let's do that. Like, so you want to know like where I came from as a kid?
So, yeah, let's start from the beginning or whatever you are comfortable sharing.
No, yeah. Luckily, as a kid, I lived a good life, right? I can't complain. My parents actually, even though we were in a third world country, I was able to have Game Boys. I was able to play, have bikes, have toys. You know the Thomas trucks? The yellow ones?
I'm not sure.
The
about
trucks,
those.
the school buses.
I haven't seen those.
Bro,
see, you guys were popping onto it. We didn't have
the
it.
The Thomas school buses. You remember that?
I would have to look at it.
So I'll show you a picture. I was fortunate, right?
Yeah.
My parents had a good business. We lived a good life. For some reason, government going crazy. My dad had to leave the Dominican Republic. We came to Florida when I was 11 years old. Throughout the process, I had Game Boys, I had games, the hotel lifestyle,
right?
Resorts. Luckily, all legal, no crazy shit.
Right.
So my parents had their business since the ground up. My dad built since he was young. And then we came to Florida, new lifestyle, learning English, being part. I used to live in Naples, Florida. So like being part of a different community, people that were rich.
Yeah, that's balling over there.
Right. So it's like, and on top of that, culturally it's a shock, right? Because I come with all this Dominican things, which don't align with American at all. So I had to learn a lot and went through a whole bunch of like ups and downs. My parents were fine. Like we were fine. We were living a good life. It wasn't that bad as well, but they couldn't afford as much luxuries as before because different language, different environment, different world. You had to start from scratch because that's the problem when you move so much. You had to start from scratch.
Yeah, it's not easy.
You had to buy new beds, new everything. Know where the supermarket is, know all this.
New friends, new everything. Friends.
So we were able to grow little by little, but I was working as a DJ for some reason. Out of my mind.
And DJ, the DJ name was?
Come on, DJ. His name is DJ, but the DJ name was Lanti. It comes from my dad's second last name. He's Lantigua, so I took the beginning, thought it was unique.
It is unique.
But my brother used to make fun of me, though.
See, you made it popular now. See?
Well, we're a producer, so maybe on the back end.
You got to bring it back.
We'll have the Lanti in the back. Back then, when I was a DJ and I was trying to do that, I was also trying to produce music. I have always liked karaoke. I've always sang. I know I know a lot of songs. I memorize the lyrics.
You do have some vocals, actually. We did a road trip one time. I'm like, what the fuck?
So it's easy for me to remember a lot of them. And like for some reason, music came to me and I became a DJ. Right. I wasn't that all those sound effects type of DJ. I was just putting music, but I knew how to mix a salsa with a merengue with a bachata, and then a reggaeton, and then bring it all back.
Wow.
And play with the music, and people used to love it. I used to make $250 a party.
That's a lot.
In a weekend, 2 parties.
500
at 15 years old, bro. I mean, we're talking about almost $2,000 when you're, and I did make a lot of money. I was able to buy a lot of things. So it was cool because I was able to supply the same things that I always had as a young kid.
Right.
But now, like myself.
That's interesting.
Always had a phone, internet, texting. Remember, texting was charged before, so Metro was the only one that was unlimited. So I used to have all that stuff. And then from there, started producing. A friend of mine whose name is Enrique. He's still doing music. I'm actually surprised.
Like making beats? Holy shit.
So making the beats and recording.
Oh, wow.
So that, again, all comes to today. That's why it's so easy.
I'm thinking about that now. Like, wow, it all came full circle.
You get it. So for some reason, this happened now.
But you're jumping the gun like...
Yeah.
Right.
Like
don't get there yet. Yeah, don't get there yet.
So like all that is coming together. Like I used to do it. It was fun, whatever. 2010 came. Time to leave the country. My parents had a working visa for 7 years.
Right.
So when the work visa was done, mom was like, I'm not staying illegal. We're not renewing this. We're just going to go back to DR, open our businesses back up, and hope for the best.
Okay. So you had graduated at that point or no?
So what happened was, and this is a funny story, I had to go to DR with my work visa on my passport.
Right.
Luckily, I still have my tourist visa. So I left to DR and got back to the country as a tourist.
Oh, to finish the high school?
Because if not, I would have had to leave 2 months early. But my mom wanted me to have the graduating experience.
Right.
So I came back.
That was a smart move.
So I came back.
Great move by mom. Thank you.
So now, like, I have my diploma from Florida. And another thing is I was in ESOL all those years. Everybody said that the counselor always told my mom that, but I didn't want them to believe it.
Right.
That I was only in ESOL because I wanted to be. I knew that if when I graduated and you're on ESOL, the diploma has ESOL on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't want to get ESOL. I don't know. Do you know what ESOL is?
No.
It's when you don't know enough English and you come from another country, so you're in a special classes that are like for people.
Oh, ESL.
ESL.
Gotcha.
Also, no, it's not ESOL. It's ESL.
It may be different in the States.
In the ESL, then when I got it, I took the test. I passed it with a 98.
Wow.
So my diploma doesn't have ESL.
Oh, good.
It was funny. So like,
it's a regular one. It's not special.
Exactly. So my mom told me that. She's like, you did it. I knew it. You did it just so you didn't want to take the hard classes. I'm like, no, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
But fast forward, I'm landed in Dominican Republic, back. Culture shock again.
How did that feel when you?
I didn't understand it till when I was 25 after my depression, but I'm going ahead again.
Wow.
Let me go back.
That's what, 8 years later?
8 years later. So I got to DR, shit ton of money. I was still being a DJ. I was still making money.
Okay.
So I had all my equipment, everything. So I was good. I took it to DR. I was like, I'm going to continue this in DR. Not knowing that it's a different lifestyle in the Dominican Republic and it's more dangerous for you to do. What here is easy, over there is dangerous.
Like
being late at night, 2 o'clock in the morning with all your music equipment.
Right.
You're a little American boy because in a way I already had the American culture. So I wasn't going to align with the tigueraje and the people being all ghetto and stuff, right?
Right.
When I go back and I tried doing the DJ, I just decided to sell the equipment and started going out, enjoying the country, blah, blah, spend all my money.
Okay.
$0. You multiply.
So like, what age are we at now? Like
18.
Okay, 18.
My mom is like, you're going to college. I was like, oh, wait. I want to work. She's like, no, you're going to go to college. You know, I already had a taste of money. Like,
right. She's being a mom.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go to work in Uno. Uno is a call center.
Okay.
And in the meanwhile, and then we'll sign up in the next term. So I go to Uno.
Like, give me a chance to work first.
Give me a chance. I'll go. Look, she got so lucky. I got fired.
You got fired?
Yeah, because that's another problem I had. My parents have always had businesses. I'm used to a family with businesses, which means
it was in your DNA.
It's in the DNA, and as well as anytime, like for example, we can take a Tuesday off.
Right.
But if I'm working at 9 to 5, I can't take Tuesday off.
Right. And you're 18. You want to go out.
You want to go out. My parents are going to freaking hotels. My parents are going to villas, and I'm staying at work in Santiago.
Right.
So it was like, I would call in too much sick days. I would be like, I would no show because I'm like.
It's like, I'm not going today. It's too nice. And every day is nice over there.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like. Right. That was part of the problem that I was having back at like when I was in DR. I started college. I actually started in sound engineer. It's what I wanted to study because I was dealing with the music and all this stuff. So what I noticed was that the schools in DR don't have that career.
Okay.
They're colleges. They only have the technical, and you have to go to Santo Domingo, and I'm from Santiago.
Right. Okay.
So. My mom didn't want me to go to Santo Domingo because my mom was very protective. She didn't want me to go to Santo Domingo, so I had to stay in Santiago, and I started engineering electronics. When I noticed that shit had nothing to do with what I wanted to learn, right. I was like, I'm done. So I stopped college for a year, and I started working, making real good money. I made 2 years. So So we're in.
Okay.
So now we're in 22.
22.
Right, 21, 22. So my mom was like, "No, you can't do this. I need you to study a career. I don't want my son to not have a career. Blah blah." Mind you, I already have 2 years of engineering and electronics.
She didn't see that as a career. She said,
Yeah.
like,
Still
something with a title on it. Like
still to this day, she asks me, "When am I going to study this?" But back then, she was like, "I want you to study something." So I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll go to psychology."
Okay.
So I did another 2 years of psychology.
Wow.
So I have a 4-year career. I just didn't graduate on none of them. So I don't
right then, you have the 4, but not the 2 and 2.
Not the 2 and 2. So
that's still good. You have 2.
I got 2.
2 associates.
2 associates, exactly. So like for all that time, I was expecting too much of the world.
Okay.
So I have a problem. My problem is I am a perfectionist / I want everything to be done now. I want things to get here today. Like I wish, like let's say for example, I'm just gonna put this as an example. I don't think that way anymore. But if I want $1 million, I'm questioning myself why I don't have it today.
Which is what you're saying is you expected too much from the world.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a young thing. Like a lot of young people are just like sprinting, trying to get. It's like, hey.
So I went so deep into that because my problem was I was having problems in school because I did not want to be in school. I was having problems with my house because my parents were having expectations. I opened a business, the business failed. Then I opened a second one, it fell again because I used to sell cell phone accessories. I used to sell this at wholesale price. I used to buy them at $2, sell them at $10. But nobody, you did not hear that from me, so
Apple still does it. You were ahead of your time.
Apple's is worse. Apple's worse. Apple sells you at 40, something that costs them $2.
Probably $1.
So when I was doing all that, right, like that business fell. I had to come here, work, made a shit ton of money, paid off all my debts, and have money to reinvest. So in my mind, I already was like, see, this is where I need to be.
Right.
This is where I need to be.
Like you're getting on the right track.
Mm-hmm. But my mom did not want me to stay here because she said you have 2 ways to stay in America.
Wait, so what age did you come back here?
Well, I'm gonna get to that right now.
Oh, okay.
My mom said you have 2 ways to get here. One is either you come with your visa and overstay your welcome, or 2, you get married.
Gotcha.
But you're never gonna get married with somebody unless you pay and you have it set up paid being on DR.
Oh, okay.
You have to be here in order for you to meet a girl and that girl to be like, okay, let's move in together, which is exactly what happened to me.
Got it.
So at 25, right now with my 25-year-old, I was going bad in school. I was actually going bad at work. I had no money, literally like in my mom's couch, like people say it all the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, I can't do this. This is not working for me. And I started going into depression. Started feeling like shit. Started feeling like my life sucked. Like I wasn't going to get anywhere. Then I was having problems with my ex. My ex said, you're crazy. You're a fucking psycho.
Right. The whole shebang. Felt like life was hitting you hard.
Exactly.
Quarter life crisis.
Quarter life. Literally quarter life. So she was, and my ex didn't help either because for her at that time, life did not, psychological problems were just you being stupid.
Got it.
So every time I would tell her like I feel some type of way about something, it wasn't received positively or try to figure out a way to make me better. It was like, you just being stupid, you need to change.
Yeah.
So that just dived me into a deeper hole.
Got it.
Tried suicide 3 times.
Really?
3. The last time was in my house and my parents broke my room door, and that's how like everything was found out, and that's how I started therapy, started going to the psychiatrist, and I was taking pills, and I was going to a psychologist. 3 months later, I was like, the fuck am I doing here? I literally did one of your dads. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Mm-hmm. Took the pills, threw it down the.
What were the pills to help you? What was
my self-esteem. So my problem was that I was being so negative that all my body was just giving me negative energy, and it drains you instead of hyping you up. So that pill was just tapping into that part of my brain where it gives you positive and gives you like dopamine.
Like endorphin. Oh, and dopamine. Okay.
I don't know which one it was. That's why I don't want to say a name. But it was something that hyped me up.
Got it. So
one day I was like, fuck this, I'm done. And I went downstairs and I told my mom, listen, I'm not going to the psychologist anymore.
But what was that? But like, what made you get to that breaking point? Like, I'm done. Was it the people helping you, or it wasn't the pills? Because you're saying you threw them out.
What do you mean?
You're like, you weren't dependent on the pills. So like, what was like that thing? Your breaking point? Like, you looked in the mirror.
I started looking at positive things and looked at myself in the mirror and said, "You have accomplished these things before." And also Gary Vee and Casey helped a lot.
Okay.
So Gary Vee like taught me, even though I don't know who he is yet, and like I'm gonna meet him one day, but he taught me like, dude, like you could do it. You're young. I was 25. Gary's like, dude, you're gonna grow until you're 80. So
young, yeah.
You got time. You could do this. You blah 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 blah. Right. So then I was watching Casey and I was like, damn, that's cool. Like in New York, recording videos, going around.
Ah, I see where this is going. Wow, holy shit.
So I said, I'm going to do that.
Just that right there. You're like, you know what?
And then Gary and Casey are speakers.
Right.
I'm also going to do that. What happened this year?
Yeah, you did it.
So
that's crazy.
That's the world that's what has me in a different mentality today. But back then it was just a dream. But I understood that I just needed to get my head down and just go. So I started going, I started learning how to edit videos, I started learning how to do certain things. So I came again to the United States, stayed for 3 months.
Right. And this time by yourself.
Every time, all those times after 2010, I came by myself. A couple of trips with my mom as well to help her do her business, but I came by myself twice. And I overstayed a little bit for like 3 months and did certain things. Well, you can't kick me out. I already got my residency. I was working for people and they were paying me, and whatever you pay me here is 45 times more in DR.
Okay.
So I was able to make good money and then go do things in DR. So, and then I had a lot of friends and I have a lot of people that I know from when I was a kid that also give you a couple hundred here.
Right, they were helping out.
So when all that, like, all this energy started going, and then I came to that last trip, I was like, this is it. Luckily, God knows how to put you in the right place. He put me in Florida for like a month I have a friend that he's a priest.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's actually, what's the head of the church?
Yeah, the priest.
The biggest one in the church. And he's like, work here. And also he gave me a house where to live for that time. But not only that, he helped me out, get me a phone. He helped me get a computer. He helped me get a camera, a drone.
Wow.
So he set me up and he said, you could do it. And then he told me that same day, and today I told him not that long ago when I went to Florida the last time, I told him, you back in 2016 told me that I was not ready for America there, so I should go back to DR. He was right.
Really?
Something that maybe if somebody like I was in DR is listening to this, or in South America or whatever. If you're not ready to leave your country behind, don't come to America.
But why do you say that? Why weren't you ready at that time?
Because I wasn't ready to leave DR. I was still talking about, when I come, I can go back to my mom, or I can when I come.
You 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I understand.
So how are you going to be successful? He picked that up
and was like, hey.
You're not ready. How are you going to be successful anywhere, in DR or in wherever? And that's part of the reason why I was not successful in DR itself is because I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
I understand.
Once I put my 2 feet here,
there's no turning back. Right. There's no turning back. Gotta roll. So
after all that, right, my mom, I told my mom one day, business fell again. Because the problem is, it's not sustainable. In DR, businesses that come from the United States to DR, I don't know how my mom does it, because she does that. She travels and does good business. But China kills you in DR because they have a lot of tax exemptions. So what costs me here $1, even though it's in a better quality, over there it costs 50 cents.
Because of the import rates?
Yes, the import rates, and also because the quality over there is different. But people don't care. Because when you're talking about spending 400 pesos or spending 100, you're going to outweigh that because 100 pesos is worth of food for a day.
Oh, wow.
So you get where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, 100 pesos was a joke, but for a lot of people, 100 pesos is their daily expenses.
Right.
So like when I understood that, I was like, this will never work for me unless of this, that, and the third. Anyway, I also wanted to live a better lifestyle, which that couldn't supply because the money I was making wasn't enough, and I was trying to live like I was making $2,000 a month in America. I mean,
hey, you being honest.
On December 25th of 2017, we were having our dinners. We were there, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Mom, I made a decision. I'm going to the United States.
Like, I'm rolling.
I want to leave in January 6th. Right after the Dominicans leave in the year, so it's like January 6th, 15th.
What made you come to that decision, or what made you?
Every time I come here,
I know it's important because you know the dates, you know when you were leaving.
Every time I come here, I'm successful. I don't know, maybe it was my thought, maybe it was because I was trying to put too much importance to it, but every time I was here, I was successful.
Got it.
You know, of course, I had my moods up and downs, the same thing I had in DR, but for some reason, I was never ever able to like comply with the community, with the people, with a mindset. Another important part, which nobody talks about, the mindset. So in DR, we're, you know, yo, it's like, oh, I'm gonna buy this camera. Why you gotta spend that much money? No, nobody talk. Cool, bro, good. It's gonna look better. Right, you get what I'm saying? It's a different mindset because everybody here is working for theirs, so nobody cares about yours. But over there, everybody's working for theirs, but at the same time, they care too much about what you're doing.
Right. So you think it put too much on your self-esteem, your mental, and you couldn't.
I couldn't handle it, and you know that we talk about this all the time, and I'm okay putting this out public. My problem is I think about too much about other people's shit because of the culture. So if I already thinking about it myself, you add to that a community who's literally built around talking about other people's stuff.
Right. It wasn't healthy for you.
It wasn't healthy. So with you guys, like with you and your dad, I've been able to learn how to like, don't care about that. That's their deal. Care about you.
Right.
And like now, luckily, it's easy for me to be like, I'm okay.
Right.
But back then it wasn't. So that was part of as well as my emotional up and downs. Boom. Told my mom in January, I'm leaving.
January the 6th.
And the 15th. Because in DR, that first week of the year, all the Dominicans are over there, so the flight tickets are mad expensive.
All right. Waiting for those to come down.
And I was like, Mom, I just need you to loan me the flight ticket. He's like, do you know where you're going to stay? I'm like, I don't care. I'll figure it out.
Wow.
Do you know what you're going to do? I'm like, I'll talk to Jimmy. Jimmy was my supplier for this. And I was like, I'll talk to Jimmy. He'll give me a job. So,
wow, that's bold, dude.
So
that's really bold.
For real. And then I can show you the message. The message is here. Hey, Jimmy, I moved to the United States. I need a job for 6 months. Can I work with you? He's like, come through on this day. Let's talk. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got the job.
Wow.
So I was
So it was already aligning. Like,
a lot of people tell you, and life tells you, and life shows you that you have to pass through certain things to get to certain places.
Right.
I couldn't get here right away.
No, it's never
if
that
I
easy.
would have got here right away, this would have failed. Things happened to align it for this to work. Meaning, and I'm gonna be fully transparent here. I really don't care. After Jimmy, I have met my wife during that time. I'm gonna name it like that, Jimmy. My family will know clearly who he is. After Jimmy fired me on a Friday, no warning. You're out. Again, I was working illegal, so he didn't have anything, you know.
He had no ties to you. He
didn't care. So fired, but luckily, I already created a communication with one of my friends that I used to sell the same merchandise in DR. He had moved it 2 years prior. So I was selling.
He had moved to the States, you're saying?
Yeah. So I was selling to his brother still over there. And they always maintained communication. So he always knew that I was selling to his brother. And I was like, yo, please fire me. If you hear anything, if you hear anybody who needs a job, someone to work, let me know. He's like, oh, I'm going to DR for like 2 months. Work in my store for me. Take care of my store.
Wow.
mind you, and there's another part that I left a little out purposely. My wife, that is my wife today, I met 3 months prior moving to that job.
At Jimmy's?
No, working with Jimmy, I went to sell to where she used to work, wholesale the phone accessories to them over there. And I saw her, and she saw me. And then I told the owner of the business, I was like, yo, give me her number. And the guy never sent me the number. Little did I know that she was interested, too.
Wow. Little jerk.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, boom. Look how everything's aligning.
It really is.
The nigga comes back from DR, fires me right there on the spot. Dominican moves, and I went straight to the store where my wife works.
And then you did the filling.
And I was like, yo, listen, I can help you with this. I told him, like, I can help you with the marketing. I can help you with this. I can help you with that. I can help you with eBay. So, like, I told him I will take care anything that is internet. I'll take care of it. That's my job.
Yeah, you are that guy.
Right?
You're that guy, pal.
I'm that guy. So I went in through that, and then the guy, like, so now, mind you, I'm working with, my wife is working.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's like, you ready at the eye for her?
A week later, I proposed. We were dating already, but a week later, I proposed. A couple of days, like 3 months later, we got married.
Wow.
That means that now I started my process to get my residency.
Gotcha.
So this is how it all ties in. If I would have come here without my paperwork, I wouldn't be able to do everything that I'm doing today because I wouldn't have a license. I wouldn't have a car. I wouldn't be able to buy things. I wouldn't have credit. I wouldn't have nothing.
Wow. So it really did all align.
Met my wife. We got married. Moved to New York. You know, we were living in an apartment. I was working in the store. That had its ups and downs. I proved myself that I knew what the hell I was doing with the marketing, with the eBay, how to market in eBay. Like, I knew what I was doing. So I knew how to create listings. I knew how to create everything. I know how to use titles, how to be engaging. So all that was like a confirmation that I was in the right path. I left something else out of that. During the whole process, inside the day one, I can show you the video. You haven't seen it. You haven't seen my personal YouTube. He hasn't seen it.
I think I have.
You have?
Yes, I have. So, yeah, I have.
Since day one. Wait, did I give it to you?
No, so when my dad first mentioned you, he was like, oh, I think you had sent him to YouTube, and then I had looked at it. I wouldn't
watch it now.
Yeah, I'd scanned through it and stuff. I did see it.
That YouTube channel, since I got here, first day I arrived to America, I was making videos.
Oh, you were like vlogging your first day here?
Vlogging.
Wow.
So I went to my first trip here was to Vegas.
Wait, what?
I told you I've been to Vegas, right?
No, I didn't even know.
So my mom was going to go to a convention.
Okay.
So what happened was my mom was like, because I had stayed twice with 3 to 4 months, she's like, listen, let's go together and say we're going to a convention. That way you don't get stopped by immigration or anything. Because I go so much that it would be like, oh, you just coming with me. So we went to the convention, and then when we came to New York, my mom was like, "Are you really gonna stay? Are you really gonna stay?" Even to the day that I got a 6-month visa, like I could leave, she's like, "Are you really gonna stay?"
She's still acting now.
She's still.
I'm just joking.
Literally, she asked me, even when my visa was expired, she's like, "You can come back and we'll figure it out. You don't have to stay." Proudest moment will come later about that, me staying here, what my mom said, but. We were able to build, like I was able to start doing my blogging. So I have 240 videos on YouTube. And that was throughout.
That's a lot. Wow, that's a lot of content.
That was throughout 2 years. So those 2 years, I was so determined that I was going to either become a YouTuber or live this life that I was making content for myself, even though it sucks. Like I watch it today and I'll tell you it sucks. I would do it I would do it so much different. Because of all the knowledge that I have today. But at that time, I used to think I used to do the best videos. Little did I know that was practice to what we have today.
Yes.
Boom. Fast forward, met Andra, started doing the videos, started working on all that stuff, built that part, met your dad. The way that I met your dad, I had taken a seminar from, what's his name? With a T, something with a T.
Tony Robbins?
No, not Tony. The real estate. I'll figure it out and I'll add it here if anything. But I had taken a real estate seminar that was free. Then I paid the one that was $200, and then they hit me with a $30,000 one. But I was like, yo.
Oh, I know which people you're talking about. I've been to those conventions too.
So
they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, so that's how I got my first intro into real estate besides the HGTVs and all that stuff. And then I tell you that I saw an ad that your dad had, the one that was written, "We buy houses cash," and I was like, "How you do it?"
Oh, on Instagram.
On Instagram. And your dad's response after that is, "I need your services." He didn't
even answer your question. That's funny.
That's your dad, right? Yeah. He's like, he looked into the Instagram, he saw the videos, and he's like, "I need your services."
Wait, he saw on your Instagram, you were already, at that point, you were already producing videos for others, or you only for yourself?
Personal. And I did a couple for others, but it was fun videos. It wasn't like professional like now videos. So they were, looking at them now, they're actually good, but it's not as good as it would be today. Right? So, met your dad through that. Came here. Dad, you know the story about that one, which is like...
I do, yeah.
Which I told you that like I was going to be late for about 20 minutes, and I didn't want to be late.
New York City traffic.
And I was like, I told you, I called his dad, and I was like, "Dom, hey, sir," because I didn't call him Dom back then. "Sir, I'm sorry I'm going to be 5 minutes late because I just took the train from the Bronx, the bus to cross over. And now I'm taking an Uber to make it over. I'm taking an Uber to make it on time." Your dad later on. Your dad tells me, "Wow, I gotta wait for this kid because
he's determined."
Yeah. We made our first video, which is an Instagram with the one that I'm actually in the video. Remember that one that he was explaining the houses in the front?
I don't remember that. You've guys done so many videos now.
I'll look it up. I'll send it to you later. But we made that first video. Your dad's like, "Listen, I got you." I told him my story where I work. He's like, "Don't quit your job." Like he always says to everybody, "Don't quit your job. Just keep going." But I have Mondays off. So he's like, "Come Mondays, we'll film 3 videos. I'll pay you for those 3 videos."
3 videos a week.
3 videos a week. Okay. The still thing we had today. The same thing. People want to do 20 videos, and we've been doing 3 videos since we started. The 3 videos, boom. We get started through that. 2 weeks, second week, I go to work on Tuesday. The guy who's really my friend now comes with an attitude. They didn't like the fact that they needed me that Monday, and I said I couldn't because I had to come here. They got mad, and then they were talking about something else, and I got mad. Situation escalated real quick. They're like, "Oh, I think we're gonna have to let you go." I'm like, "Oh, cool. I'm okay with leaving. Get out of there. Call your dad, not Iandra, not nothing. Call your dad."
You even call your wife.
Yo, hey, if you need more videos, I'm more available now.
It's like, fuck this, I'm doubling down. So they did you a favor, but the guy's still your friend?
All of them are.
Oh, so cool.
They're Dominicans. You know how they are, Dominicans. I told them that was the biggest satisfaction in the world, going to them and be like, "Thank you for firing me."
Yes.
Tell your dad, I'm more available. Your dad's like, "We'll figure it out." The same thing he always does. "We'll figure it out, but come every day now. I'll cover your transport, and I'll cover your payment every week until you make money." Like, let's start getting more clients.
Right.
1 week. He got me the client that covered his pay.
Oh, okay.
So it took 1 week for me to start building the portfolio. Pandemic happened, and it was off from there because we never stopped.
But with the... I know you, because you said the priest had given you all the camera equipment. So from that time, from 2016 is when you started playing with all the cameras, getting all the angles, and then what about the editing part? Like, how did you...
So the editing, I started with iMovie, the free software that Apple gives you.
Oh, wow. So it's all starting to come together now.
I started cutting, cutting the videos through there, figuring that out. YouTube's university. How do I get this effect? To this day, bro. To this day, certain things I want to do that I see on Instagram, I'm like, how you do this? On Google.
Oh, just Google.
And then, you got to buy this plugin. Before I couldn't buy it, but now I'm like, okay, cool, buy it. So I buy plugins, I buy this, I buy that stuff. It all integrates to creating good content. But back then, it was like, okay, so time lapse. This is how you do a time lapse. This is how you do that. Memory. I didn't understand the capacity of your computer would affect the editing. There's a lot of things that I was still learning.
Right.
So from there, like my first camera, I bought it literally selling a phone. So I had 2 phones. I sold one, bought the camera.
That's amazing, bro.
I used to get paid on a Friday. Bought the this is now another part of the story, which is interesting. I didn't know. I forgot about. You know when you compress something so deep into your mind that you don't think about it. So in my attempts to become Casey Neistat,
Cesar
Neistat, I used to like literally go into Casey's office and try to see if I could see him.
Really?
Yeah.
Like show up to the front door?
There's a video on YouTube you can watch that is about that. In front of Casey's office. Literally says it like that. So in my attempts to become a YouTuber, I used to like buy my Metro card. So I was okay for the week. And at work, they would give me lunch. Mm-hmm. And where I lived, they give me dinner.
Got it.
So if I made $300, $400, $500 because I used to get commission, I will go buy something that I needed to record. So the first thing I bought was a GoPro. Then I bought a stabilizer for the phone. Mm-hmm. Then I bought this. There's a lot of stuff that I still got over there that I will never throw out because it's reminders. Then I bought my first camera, which is the gray one that is Sony over there. Then with that camera, I started making videos, but I didn't understand why this happened, like this, that. You know, I was learning.
You still use those same formulas today. That's like a great lesson for anybody watching because it's like you don't spend your money on dumb shit. I don't see you like I see a whole bunch of packages, and every time I see you open them up, more camera equipment, more lenses, more this, more that. You're just constantly reinvesting. Like I do applaud you for that. You don't. Yeah. No BS.
No BS. And like, yes, I like for example, I do.
And that's to this day.
Yeah.
Like
I spend money in dinner. I do spend money like in buying clothes. But the reasons I spend money in clothes is because it's a tax deduction and I don't want to pay taxes. The reason I buy dinner because it's also a tax deduction.
Yeah, but I understand.
But then any money that I have extra,
it's so business. Outweighs each other. Like reinvesting and then whatever you're spending on yourself.
It's business. I'm always thinking like because see the studio, right? Like everybody that comes here, I have already recorded 14 episodes. Mm-hmm. We're in episode 9, and I have recorded 15, 16 with this one.
Got it.
So everybody that comes into the studio, they're like, this is the best studio I've seen. But it's because before I do anything, I'm already doing 20,000 worth research. Mm-hmm. And when I look at it, I don't know. I no longer look into things through my eyes. I look in through the camera's eyes. So everybody, when they come here, they're like, oh, wow, they look so different on camera.
It sure does.
But the reason why it looks so different on camera is because I'm showing you what I want to show you, mm-hmm. which is this frame.
Right.
Which I'm pointing right there so you can see, right? That's what you see. But before all this was made, this was here.
No, I could tell. Through the conversations we've had, sometimes you say things and you're like, I see things like this and I see this there. I'm like, yeah, I really don't understand it. That like I need some visuals. So it's too fast for me.
Exactly. So like when I'm trying to grow and we're trying to build something big, but I fall back to some of the episodes I have talked about in the podcast, which it's funny how that happens. You're trying to find people to help you grow because I can only do so much.
Yes.
I cannot be on top of the customers. I cannot be on top of the editing. I cannot be on top of the filming. I cannot be on top of the finances. Like, it's a lot for one person to handle.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm trying to find someone who's willing to sit down and, like, eat shit for now. Like, I have ate shit for years.
Like we all have.
Exactly. Trying to get to where we are today. Mm-hmm. But nobody's willing to put in half of what, like, the potential that they could be in something that was nothing 2 years ago.
Right, because that could be potentially your next partner. Right. But like you said, you have that mindset and most people don't, right? Mm-hmm. You know, they rather just get, you know, give me a task and give me the money. It's really, it's hard. It's hard if you don't come from that. So
the good thing we got to that, right? And I love the fact that you asked me the question at the beginning what started this podcast. Mm-hmm. Yes. All that had to happen for me to get to where I'm today. I am so happy that I went to depression. I'm so happy that I quit. I'm so happy that I fell a couple times.
Yeah.
Because the things that happens to people at the 30s, their 40s, and their 50s sometimes when they fail, I experienced in my 20s. So if you understand life is funny, where one of Gary Vee's quotes, which is like, you can fail all you want in your 20s, it's actually happened to me. Now that I'm about to reach 30, there hasn't been a failure in the past 4 years.
Right. Or growing lessons.
Or growing. So the next step of my life, which is my 30s, where now I'm going to be a father, where now I'm a family man, where now my life is that, right? It's like all of this had to happen in order for me to be here comfortably.
Right. That was your foundation. Now it's time for your ascension.
Exactly. So I only imagine when I'm 40 years old where I'm going to be. Whoever's not on the boat today, I'm sorry. It's my camera. Why am I looking here? I'm sorry to tell you, you had the possibilities.
Good riddance.
Good riddance. And I finally understand why people say, now let's have some boss conversations, right? I understand why people say that either people are not ready or they don't have that mindset, right? Before, I used to hear that a lot in the motivational speaking that you listen to, because they're talking to bosses. They're not talking to the normal crowd. The normal crowd doesn't understand that you have to think in a 3D mindset. You can't think in a 2D, because if you're thinking in a 2D, then you only see the benefit in front of you. This causes me a lot of money. This cost me $6,000 to put this studio.
Right.
And this causes me money every month to edit, to produce, to have it ready.
Operation expenses are high.
Operation expenses are high.
All businesses.
But you know what's crazy? This just got me 3 contracts. Because everybody sees it and everybody's like, I want to be on that show. And then when they're on the show and they see everything else that I do and everybody else that I work with, they're like, oh, so it's you. So everything comes together. But I saw that 6 months ago.
Right.
Because remember,
I actually remember you having those conversations. Yeah. I do remember that.
I was telling you, like right now there's no benefit. But the benefit's going to come in the back end when people are seeing the podcast and they're like, I want to have that show. Because remember, my whole thing with this was I wanted to set it up. I wanted to have it. But I wanted it to be rented.
Right. Use it or rent it out. But your first thought was renting.
Yeah, my first thought was renting. It's like, we could use it, us, whatever. But the first thought was renting. It's like I could be making what's the name? When you make cash flow for something? Stream of income?
Yeah, this different stream of income.
I will have somebody already here editing, working on the edits. And then they come and then somebody comes to record. They have 2 options. Option A, you can just rent the equipment, use it, take the memory card, go home. We'll give you the content. Have a nice day. You just paid for the rental and you used it. That's it. Or option B, you pay for the rental and you pay for us to edit it.
Which is still a beautiful option if anybody wants to use it.
Exactly. And option 3 was, I'll give you a package. I'll set you up with a YouTube channel. I'll set you up with the podcast. I'll give you all the key things that I use to get my episodes to be listening to. With the shorts that I do, you've seen the shorts.
Yeah.
It's money. It's done.
I have the best shorts. But I have the best short of 2022 so far.
That was funny that we just thought of that in the spot.
Yeah.
And we started producing it. But, like all this took me, I could honestly say now, like, cause especially now that you made me think about everything.
Yeah.
It took me 15 years to develop.
That's incredible. Cause
it's the same thing as you, bro. Right? You're in the real estate world.
Right.
But you're in the real estate world since you were what, 10 years old?
Probably, yeah, 9, 10.
So if you're in 10 years old, you're about to be 32. It's 20 years of experience you have.
Well, not full on experience, but just being around. Obviously,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Just by default, I was very lucky.
So when you edit music on a program, it's the same thing as editing video. There's no difference. The only difference is you're dealing with audio, and here you're dealing with visuals.
Got it.
But it's the same process. When you're editing a photo, it's the same thing as color grading. So all those things that I took for years, when you're mixing something, you're trying to keep people engaged. Mm-hmm. So when you're mixing music as a DJ, you're engaging with people.
Right.
When you're a likable person, when you talk to people in business, you sell them things. I used to have good sales numbers. I sell like a motherfucker. The thing is, my expenses were too high for what I was selling. I was trying to expend more than I was making. That was a personal choice.
It happens.
So, crazy enough, all those experiences that I lived through, all that, got me to a point where when I fell in depression, I felt like today I'm here because I'm being stupid. I have everything I need to be successful. I just need to stop judging myself.
That's a big point. That's also big of you to like just straight up admit that. Like,
so when I left everything, meaning the pills, meaning leaving to America, leaving to everything, it's because I finally understood. Don't ask me how that happened, but I finally understood that I had everything to succeed. I just needed to wait.
Patience.
Who says that all the time?
Gary V. That's a cold dude right there. Thank you, Gary.
At 29 years old, everything comes full circle because I was doing the things without knowing to get me to where I'm at today.
Right.
So I know business. I know how to speak with people because I used to sell accessories.
But you know, another thing I'm thinking is like you're talking about like when you talk about your story, and in each part of your story, you were building on a skill. Mm-hmm. And then it all came full circle. So there's probably a lot of people out there who have many different skills. Mm-hmm. They're just either not maybe putting them together in the right way. And it seemed like everything you had built in the story, it's just all in one now. But it's something you were working up towards your whole life, which is crazy.
So what I understand today of what happens with a lot of people is like they don't have key people in their life. Mm-hmm. So I've been fortunate to get key people in the moments that I needed them. Right. Like the priest, like the guy from Jimmy, like Eleazar, that's his name, like Freddie, like my wife, like you guys, like Wayner, like Joe, like Giorgio. So God, because even though I don't say it as much, I do believe in God. Mm-hmm. God has put people in my life way before that have been key elements to creating the personality of who I am today. I lose it sometimes and my mind goes a little off. I think we all have that. I just put too much pressure on myself. But I understand today that I've been going through phases. So if my phase of making $120,000 last year was this coming from bankruptcy twice. I'm going to call it bankruptcy because I lost all my money twice. Till today saying I have cameras. I don't owe money. I have cars. I have this. I have that. You know, like I live a good lifestyle.
Yeah, you sure do.
Right? So it's like it came full circle.
Mm-hmm. It's a great story. It really is a great story.
Even though sometimes I'm going crazy because I'm about to have a baby, but that's my next, which is now, I'm now interested in what that phase of my life is going to be.
That'll be part two. But quick bomb for Cesar Jr. He's on the way. CJ. What day is he due?
May 12th. So he's going to be watching this someday. Someday, wow. This is another thing, right? Soon. Gary V, that's another one. Document, right? I always used to say this and I didn't know why I said it. I'm documenting for my kids because I want them to see where his father was. I wish that I will have like an encyclopedia of content that I can go back and be like, what my dad was doing on May 12th, for example.
Wow, that's a great idea.
May 12th, 1992. What was he doing? So thanks to technology today, we're able to document that.
It's a great idea. I may have to use that one.
Where you take pictures of things you do on a day-to-day basis. Imagine.
Right. That's all. Yeah, that's another form of documenting.
Like your dad said, when you're in your nursing home, you're like, what was I doing today 20 years ago?
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to say like the different things you experienced and lived. But man, like,
great advice.
yeah, but like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm so happy and excited, and I can't wait what we can do next. I'm so happy that you're interviewing me, and like,
Yeah, this was cool.
And
because I learned new stuff today too.
Really,
Yeah,
interesting. So we took time to create a relationship, and I'm so surprised that we have able to evolve to a place where we feel comfortable, like to have deep conversations.
Yeah.
Aside from
the podcast,
from what you guys we talked today.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, God has bring people to my life that I can have deep conversations and trust and know that they're there. So yeah, Mike is here. The plumber's here. We're ready to work, people.
Right.
We've been here for 53 minutes, surprising.
That's a good podcast.
Yeah.
Almost an hour.
So do you have any other questions? I answer everything?
No questions. I just want to say, like, you know, I've seen your growth over the past couple years. Big kudos to you. And,
Thank you.
You know, just keep it going.
Imagine when we're not talking the podcast in 20 years from now.
Yeah. Another couple of years.
I know, man. Thank you.
Alrighty. Damn, I wanted to add that.